Invisible Portrait of Light 2025 art exhibit, and we have with us one of our honorees again. But first, let me introduce myself, Clark Kent of the Daily Planet. No, I'm actually Danny Tennial, the voice of Right On Radio 87.7 FM. Can you dig it? And with me is my own private Lois Lane, aka Miss Sharonda Walker, the amazing wife of the amazing artist behind the art exhibit, Larry Walker. And we have with us one of our 2025 finalists and honoree, Pastor Caleb Armour of Greater Love Baptist Church.
Yes,
I got that right, didn't I?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There we go. Sir, here I go again. You are young.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been a pastor?
So I've been a pastor now for 4 years. I've started in ministry at the age of 5. I'll be 30 this year. Lois will.
25 years.
Yes, ma'am.
A quarter of a century.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wow. How did you get into the ministry?
Yes, sir. One day I was playing in my room. I love to play church. So what that looked like, it wasn't a physical play church, but from a standpoint of a young child, it was playtime. But it was a serious calling in the midst of the playing. I had teddy bears, I had wrestling action figures, and so I had them just sitting down as if they were the congregation, and I was preaching to them. Days went by, weeks went by, months went by, and one particular day I was going through the same motion, and I literally saw the word preach. It was like a light shining, and it was just a definitely God moment to me. And I pondered with that, I prayed about that, I expressed it to my mother at the time, that I really feel a call on my life to preach. And I reached out to my pastor at the time and spoke with her about it. And here I am today, 25 years later, still preaching the gospel as Matthew 28 commands us to go ye therefore to the othermost parts of the world and preach and teach the gospel.
And who was your pastor?
Pastor Carol Brown.
Carol Brown.
Temple of Christ Missionary Baptist Church.
I like to pay homage to those who have paved the way, who poured into or who lit the path up.
Yes, ma'am.
So that you could see or find your way.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I always like to say their name.
Yes, ma'am.
It's almost like the universal term mom,
Right.
dad,
Right.
grandma.
Right.
That means so many different things to many people. But what I'm finding is important for us to keep their names.
That's right.
Because some are here and some are no longer here.
Yes, ma'am.
But what they did for us, their name deserves to be in the atmosphere.
And that's correct.
You know,
Pastor Carol Brown, I'm grateful to this day for her, to her husband as well, Deacon Ronald Brown, and to the entire family for how they wrapped their arms around me as literally I was their grandchild, and just took me under their wings. And everything I know about ministry, about Christ, about God, came from them. They were very serious, and I thank God for that because they saw the seriousness of the call that God placed in me. They weren't as easy on me, but I look back now and I see why they showed so much hard love towards me, and I'm grateful for that today.
Well, being that you started young, you were called early into the ministry.
Yes,
what was it like navigating ministerial life and elementary life,
right,
junior high life,
right,
or high school life even?
right.
Share with us.
So as I look back, my mom, my parents, my brothers I have, which at the time it's total of us 6 now, but at the time just 3 of us. And so I was the middle age, had an older and a younger.
Okay.
And that group of family were very, very instrumental about me being Caleb, before I was Minister Caleb, but being Caleb. But there was something that couldn't be explained. There was so much more of my mindset of I know who I am as far as Caleb, but I have to be about this work and this business. Which there's a story in the Bible that talks about Jesus at the age of 12, he left his mother and his father to go do what it is he was called to do. And people don't want to stop us from that. People that truly love us, but it has to be an understanding of this is my purpose for being here. It's not just a daily be Caleb, but there's a true calling in my heart and in my livelihood that I must be about my Father's business. And so there were a lot of times where people, my friends and everybody was calling me to come outside. I didn't come outside, and a lot of things that I missed, and I don't count it as missing out on life. I just count it as a blessing again that God allowed me at a young age to be impactful. And there were plenty of younger people that I can look at even today who have grown up, and to older people that I was able to minister to and to approach even on that same young age level. But it was just a blessing to be able to walk in that calling and still to continue walking in that.
Very good.
How does your church connect with the surrounding community, Pastor?
We connect in numerous ways. I'm very instrumental on outreach. Again, the Bible says, go ye. So he's not really waiting on us to open the doors and allow people to come in, but he's looking for us as disciples to go out into the uttermost parts. And so what that looks like for us, even on a consistent basis, we're in the nursing homes twice a month, where we are coming in, we're hosting services, or we just this past February for Valentine's Day, we were able to sponsor nursing home sneaker ball, where we came in, and it was so wonderful to just see the smiles on their face and the love that was being able to be shared with our young people. Summer camp programs, we have different outreach things that we do. We partner with multiple schools in the area to support them, whether it's through tutoring programs, whether it's through financial sponsorships. We try to get back in that area. And then overall in our community, we're hosting at times food drives, healthcare clinics. Each year we have, which is one of our biggest outreach ministries, we call it our Family Community Day. So it's a Saturday, the last Saturday in July, where it's just like a big wide block party picnic. We have free food. There's all type of job opportunities, vendor opportunities, the whole 9 yards. It's for the family and it's for the community. So we're a church that really believes in our name is greater love. We believe in being and showing that greater love to not only just the Memphis area, but the entire world as a whole.
As a whole.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I guess one of the reasons why I asked that question about you being able to balance ministerial life and your regular life as it relates to being human.
Right.
So along the line of being human, we like to share with our listeners, our viewers, if you would, something about you, like a hobby that they may not even know. They may know you, think they know you as a pastor, but what is something that you're able to share with our viewers of something, some hobby or something you like to do?
Right. So one of my biggest hobbies is playing basketball. A lot of people may not know that, but a lot of church members didn't know that. It was funny how they found it out. This past year in 24, we hosted our first church community jamboree. So it was another outreach event for the community abroad. And in the jamboree, different type of sports games, volleyballs and things like that. And I actually got out there and played volleyball. But the highlight of that day was the 3-on-3 basketball. And yours truly had the opportunity to get out there and show my skills, and it drew tons of people over there to just watch me play, and it was just like
he can play.
Yeah, that I can play. I'm not the best player,
but you can play.
I can play.
You can play. You can shoot.
I can shoot. Yes. I can shoot and dribble.
Yes,
that's the basics. So.
That when you said that, it reminded me of. I grew up in the era where Michael Jordan was doing his thing.
Right.
And so he did his thing so well that my brother had a basketball goal in the yard. So after seeing Michael Jackson play, Michael Jordan, I apologize. After seeing Michael Jordan play, I was so motivated. I'd go outside with that basketball. I may not be the best dribbler, but I can shoot.
That's right.
I can get it in the loop,
That's
in the hoop.
That's
So
it.
yeah.
And let me add and say, just to clarify too, for the question about balance of ministry life and personal life, that was something I had to truly learn personally. And the love part of the family was pushing, hey, you got to learn to be Caleb. You got to learn to, take the minister hat off sometimes and be yourself. And I was very, very, I guess for better words to use, stubborn, because I wanted to keep that hat on. But as pastors and preachers and ministers, that's a lot of wear and tear. It's just like a vehicle that you never take time to stop, put gas in, change the oil, change the tires. Maintain it, but you're constantly running it. And how can I care for other people's souls if I'm not caring for my own soul first? I teach our church that love is an action verb. And you cannot learn how to love anyone else without first learning how to love yourself.
Oh, that's a good one. That's pretty good.
I saw on one of your podcasts where you were doing a little singing. You consider yourself a singer, or you just praising?
I can hold a tune, guys.
Hold a tune.
Well, when you look at the fact that you are one of the finalists out of 95 pastors that were nominated for 2025 honoree Visible Portrait of Light, you're one of the final 12. That means you've had an impact in the community that you serve as pastor. How does that make you feel?
Like goosebumps, It was like I had to pinch myself to really, say that this is actual truth. This is happening. And it wasn't until actually when I first met Mr. and Miss Walker that I was like, this is a reality. This is real. This is real. But just the fact of that, someone took the time to nominate me for this opportunity means that something I'm doing is not in vain. It is not really what I'm doing, but it's about what God has put in me to be able to give back to Him and to His people. And so I just count it as a blessing that I'm being able to see some of the fruits of the labor. And what this does is just continues to encourage me to keep going, to keep preaching the gospel, to keep serving. You said that in your question, this one word I live by is to serve.
Okay.
Jesus said, I didn't come to be served, but to serve. And so that's what my motto is on a daily basis. How can I help serve the kingdom?
As you and I had a conversation prior to us starting the podcast, and what's special is you, along with 12 other wonderful ministers in the Memphis metropolitan area, will be honored at this 3rd annual Visible Portrait of Light. I find it very special, the relationship that even you all, the 12 of you all, have. I feel like it's divine.
It is.
There was a pastor last week that we interviewed, Pastor Anderson, and he mentioned that you were one of his mentees.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm like, wow, everybody's connected.
That's right.
But God is good, because truly the light is shining.
That's right.
And being a product of Memphis, and you're a product of Memphis,
yes,
and
ma'am.
Dan is a product of Memphis, we want to stimulate light.
Yes, ma'am.
We want that light to shine so bright that those who are wandering in darkness can't help but find their way back on to the source of it all. So would you share with our listeners some vision or some nugget of hope that you have for the Memphis metropolitan community?
Yes, ma'am. So a vision and a hope that I have for this community is that we can be the light. As Ms. Walker just stated, that it takes just one light to be able to shine in the midst of darkness, to be able to see that there is some light. And what should happen, there should be a sense of love in the community, love to where even if I see that Caleb's light is out, I love him enough to say, hey man, let's turn that light on. And as my light began to turn on, and the other lights begin to turn on, we begin to light up this city. And so we all got to remember that we're all human. God placed each and every one of us here for a purpose and for a reason. It's not so much about us, but it's more so about God getting the glory. So if we come together as a community and we serve one another and we serve our God, I believe that our light can outweigh the darkness tremendously.
That was good. One last thing that I wanted to ask is I always like to have a relatable, meaning when you look back over your life and there was a challenge, a hurdle, a hiccup that you may have encountered, what was it about that? What lesson and what blessing did you learn?
I'm going to tell you a very interesting story that a lot of people I don't really share because I try not to. Everybody cannot handle truth as it is. Truth is tied to love. The Bible talks about how love and truth go together. But the truth of the reality is, at the age, I want to say I was 20 years old. Again, I was called in the ministry. I accepted my calling at 5, so that's about 15 years
Okay.
that I've been ministering. And at that age and point in my life, I was kind of going through a phase where I was questioning my calling to see if it was really God calling me into this. Because at that point, I started thinking back on, did I miss out on my childhood? Did I miss out on having fun? Did I miss out on this? And then was it worth missing out on?
Okay.
I was working at Chick-fil-A at this time, and I had met a pastor that came through. And I had told God before I met this pastor, I told God, I said, God, if this is really what you have for me to do, just as I see you all right here in my face, I want you to show it to me. And I said, if you show it to me, this is just my faith and my request to him, because he said, asking it shall be given.
Yes.
I said, if you show it to me, I will serve you for the rest of my life. I won't question my calling. I will run with this calling and this charge. Lord, behold, not even a week went by. I'm at work, and this pastor comes in, and he's like, you a preacher? And I'm looking at him like, how you know I'm a preacher? You know, where is this coming from? And so long story short, he asked me to come and preach for the youth day, and I was like, you know, I would get back with you, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't preach anymore. And God stopped me in my heart and convicted me, and he took me literally back to my prayer. He said, what did you ask me? And I was like, oh my God, I asked you to show it to me. And he said, what did I do? I said, well, you showed it to me. And he said, well, what are you going to do? I said, well, I told you I'm going to run. He said, well, run with me. And I preached at that church for their youth day. That was in 2018. And in 2022, I became the pastor of that same very church.
Same church.
Greater Love Baptist Church.
Look at God.
Yes, ma'am. So everything is divine.
Oh, definitely.
Everything happens for a reason, but it's definitely divine. And when you step out on faith, when you trust him, he says you have to have the faith the size of a mustard seed. So if you take out of your 5 toes, if you take that big toe, or if you take that pinky toe and you step out on it, God will take the rest of them and do the rest.
He'll do it. Won't he do it?
He will do it. He will do it.
Well, we're excited about you and the other 11 pastors who are going to be honored at this year's Visible Portrait of Light art exhibit. It's going to be the last Sunday of April the 27th at the Memphis Renaissance Center downtown. The doors open at 3. You want to be there. Make sure you get your tickets. You can go to Eventbrite. You can also contact us at 901-314-0294. We don't want you to miss it. We want you to witness history. We're about preserving history. Our great spiritual leaders. This is the largest art exhibit of spiritual leaders of its kind. And we'll be featuring local high school students that are so talented. They have drawn or painted individuals, everyday people. It could be their mothers, their fathers, their teachers, their neighbors, everyday citizens who they feel are inspirations. So we are just excited. Oh, I have a couple of samples.
Wow.
I have a couple of samples.
These are high school?
These are high school students. This student is from East High School that painted Can you guess? Can you guess? This is Dr. Fagan, and they wrote some wonderful words why they picked her as a person who serves as an inspiration to them. And this young person is from White Station. White Station. Mr. Berlin is the art teacher over there, and this is a portrait of one of their grandfather when they were young.
Wow.
Very, you see the details?
So detailed.
Talented. We have talent in Memphis, Tennessee. So if you want to see the works of young people, our local high school students, please come get your tickets so you can come and see the student art exhibit. And the winners will be recognized with a cash prize and rewards as well.
Wonderful.
So we're excited.
Wonderful. Let me take time to do this if I don't get the chance, but publicly thank you and Mr. Walker for the vision that God has given you all and for running with it. We talk about the vision for the city and how we can see the light shining, just even through this right here, shining the light through younger people. And so thank you all for running with it and allowing God to use you to be a beacon of light to this community.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming and joining us. Danny and I, we are just excited and we're looking forward. Oh, he definitely got that voice.
I'm jealous.
He got that voice. All right.